Okay, new Alien trailer is here. Stoked, but also cautiously optimistic. Trend with recent Alien movies is to not really do what you're supposed to and screw the story up and really drop the ball on a lot of things. Prometheus, Covenant. It's supposed to be between Alien 1 and Alien 2. So, I don't know. We'll see what's up. So it definitely has this old school original Alien vibe, right? With the tight corridors and stuff.
Run.
The thing that's interesting here is it takes place 20 years after the first Alien movie. Between Alien that came out in 1979, the original, the OG, 20 years after that. 30-something years before Aliens. I think 50-something years had passed when her ship got found and then she got woken up out of cryo sleep. Anyway, the trailer looks cool. It's not anything that we haven't seen before, which apparently that was the goal of this trailer, was to kind of pay respect to the original Alien movies and kind of go back to that tight, dark corridors, real kind of claustrophobic vibe. Aliens hunting humans in a derelict spaceship kind of thing, which is cool. There's nothing wrong with that. We saw a lot of new characters that we hadn't seen before. We saw a lot of face huggers come out at one point, which that one's pretty interesting. And I'm going to touch back on that in a second. There, instead of it just being one or two face huggers kind of chasing people or in a spaceship or something, you have like a horde of them. So you hadn't really seen that before. One or two face huggers trapped in a ship with you is already terrifying enough. And now there's dozens of them. Apparently it's a scavenger ship is what we see in the beginning that comes into contact with a derelict spaceship that's been abandoned for a while. And so it's going to be interesting to see who was on that ship originally. If somebody got impregnated by a face hugger on that ship originally, how many people were on the original ship? How long have they been dead? How many of them have turned to xenomorphs? How many xenomorphs then are going to be on that ship? And then how many new ones are going to get created because the face huggers are implanting on the new people that just arrived? And then at the end, we see what looks like a pulse rifle, but maybe an older version. Might not have necessarily been a military ship for it to have armaments on it like that, because in the original Alien, it was just some kind of a resource gathering ship, right? So they didn't really have weapons on board. They had some flamethrowers or something, but not actual rifles, weaponry like that. This is going to be some kind of a ship to where they would be required to have that type of pulse rifle on it, perhaps military, who knows. And the other thing that's cool about this trailer is they don't do the whole stupid thing where they give you the really short trailer at the beginning when you go to watch the trailer, and then they say, okay, you clicked on a trailer, here's the really short trailer, and then, oh, okay, now you can watch the actual trailer, right? Instead of doing the whole trailer before trailer crap, they just get to the point. Thank you for doing that. Apparently, from what the director Alvarez has said and from what Ridley has said, we know that it's in between 20 years after the first Alien movie. So in between Alien 1 and Alien 2. Apparently, this is going to be tied somehow to Covenant and Prometheus. This is the reason why I'm cautious, because Prometheus was... The funniest thing about Prometheus is that on the back of the DVD case of Prometheus, it says, questions will be answered. That's hilarious, dude. What that should have said was, an unnecessary amount of questions will be raised for no reason. It was cool to see on screen the engineers and see that spaceship that was in the first Alien movie from '79, and to see the space jockey or what was inside of it, and to see that ship actually and get some actual backstory behind that. I mean, because you got to think the first Alien movie came out in '79, 33 years after you saw that in the movies for the first time. You finally got some kind of an answer as to what the hell that was. The thing that's going to be interesting is if they are going to somehow fix any of the mistakes that they made. Prometheus was great. It was cool, but way too many plot holes. The fact that when Covenant came out, it was essentially, David killed Shaw, mutilated her body, and then just dumped the black goo on the engineer homeworld, and then we're done talking about engineers now. All right, move on to scary alien sci-fi guy chasing and killing humans theme. All right, I mean, nobody wanted that. Everybody wanted you to keep talking about the engineers and flesh out that story. Could you have still managed to do both? Yeah, you could have had your creepy xenomorph or primitive or earlier versions of xenomorphs or different versions of them chasing and killing humans and being scary and gory, but you also could have fleshed out the engineers a lot more. Instead, it's almost as if they decided, Prometheus ratings are bad and nobody really seems to like that movie, so we're just going to say screw the engineers, and then we're just going to do creepy alien stuff again. That's what this feels like when you watch Prometheus and then you watch Covenant. It's like, screw all of that. Screw this character that everybody loves, Elizabeth Shaw, and then just, she's dead. And then there's this new one. Really? The fact that to understand what the hell is happening with Prometheus and Covenant, you have to go on YouTube, watch some 24-minute video, and then you can understand somewhat the storyline, what's happening between Prometheus and Covenant. The fact that you have to do that to even understand what the hell is going on, ridiculous. Prometheus went way too far down the we're not going to answer these questions route. We're going to answer some questions, but we're going to make you want to ask 30 more of them. And then again, Covenant feels like, nobody liked Prometheus, so we're just going to wipe them all clean and they're dead. So anyway, most of us are cautiously optimistic about a new Alien movie because we've all been burned before. So trying to figure out if this is actually going to help or not. Ideally, what would be cool to see from this movie is some kind of fleshing out of stories of Prometheus and or Covenant. This movie would have been better if it was just the movie that came after Covenant and then bridged into Alien 1. It almost feels like we need that at this point. Well, we do need that at this point. It's like, yay, cool, new Alien movie, that's great, but please just finish the storyline and just get it over with. Like you messed up so much shit with Prometheus and Covenant, and it's such a mess. Just make the movie after Covenant that connects the timeline to Alien 1, and then just be done with it at this point. That would have been best case scenario, but here we have a prequel sequel movie now. Whatever questions that they're going to answer from Covenant and Prometheus, I hope that they don't make it worse. Hopefully something gets fleshed out appropriately and some questions get answered at least. The way that they might bridge this together is going to be with how many face huggers were in the teaser trailer, because in Aliens, and Alien 3, you really don't see that many face huggers on screen at one point. My theory is that the reason why there's dozens of face huggers on this ship, they were either let loose on the ship at some point, either by accident or on purpose, and they've just been living on the ship for how many years that ship has been deserted, or the crew that we see in the beginning of Romulus shows up to the ship. They're the ones that open up all of the eggs, right? Because the question is, why are there that many face huggers on that ship? The last time we saw that many face huggers on a ship was the engineer spacecraft that we saw in Alien was housing all of the eggs. The engineer spacecraft that we saw in Prometheus wasn't housing the eggs, but it was housing the black goo, which the black goo is presumably the stuff that they're trying to use to either weaponize the xenomorph species, or they're trying to create the xenomorph. They're probably going to learn something about this abandoned ship that has these dozens of face huggers on it. Hell, it could be more than that. Who knows? Hundreds, maybe. The face huggers that we see on the ship are either probably going to come from LV-246, or they're going to come from some engineer ship. And this could tie it to maybe Covenant, but also specifically Prometheus. Because again, why would you have that many face huggers? That's the thing that's curious, and that's going to be how it might be bridged between the two previous movies. Anyway, cautiously optimistic about this. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here with this. We always want the Alien movies to be good, right? The Alien fans do, but we've been burned so many times in the past that we're cautious. For sure. The main thing that we're really looking for is that it delivers on some type of fleshing out of stories of Prometheus and Covenant. Use Alien Romulus to fix the mistakes that you've made in the story for the prequels. Use that to help bridge the gap somehow. That's what I'm looking for out of it. Not that one movie can fix the other two movies, but how are you going to use this to clean up some of those loose ends? That's probably the biggest thing that some diehard Alien fans are probably looking for here. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming by. Like the video, subscribe if you like this kind of content, and leave a comment below. Is it going to be cool? Are they going to mess it up again? What do you think?